Hey, friends and family, this is Pastor Steve. Welcome to it's episode 6.
Episode 6.
Episode 6 of the Hope Connection podcast, where we bring faith, truth, and hope into the hard places of life to help you. We try to answer questions that are relevant to family members and friends that may have loved ones here at the Teen Challenge. You have questions, and we want to try to answer them. Today, we're diving into a big one. This is, what do I do when my loved one doesn't want help? Amen. So maybe you have a son, a daughter, or a spouse, and you've watched them spiral out of control, and you've prayed your heart out. You've done all the things that you can do. You're worn out, your heart broken, and you're at the end of your rope, and you don't know what to do. And so we want to try to help answer some of those questions today. And so to help me unpack that important subject today, Russ Cambria, our CEO, is here with us today. Welcome to the show, Russ.
Yeah, thank you again, Pastor Steve. Good to be here. We're getting our studio down there.
We're coming
now.
a little bit at a time, man.
That's good. But yeah, so this topic definitely hits close to home. I'd say every week, and if our admissions team were here doing this podcast with you, they would confirm. We hear this from moms, dads, wives, now husbands, since we've got women, all the time. You know what I mean? And the truth is, it's really, when they say that we've tried everything, they don't want help. What can we do? They're in a very difficult situation.
Right.
You got the family that wants all the effort is being put in by the family, and that's great, but it's not going to result in anything until the actual applicant feels how they feel.
Yeah. And so I just had this happen last week. It happens all the time. Where family members calling and they're trying to get their loved one in the program, which is nothing wrong with that. But then we tell them, like, hey, at some point we have to talk with them.
Yeah.
And then when we end up talking with them, the family is excited about them going.
Sure.
But the loved one is not.
Yeah.
And so we had this happen this past week, and and I had to tell someone that, like, because she goes, it seems like you guys aren't willing to help. And I said, no, we're willing to help, but we have to have him be willing to get help first, because we can't do anything without that. And so, and which leads me into my first thing. You can't change them.
That's right.
Amen.
Yeah,
but you can learn how to love them the right way.
Correct. Yeah. So another, again, real world example is very, very recently. We had a guy come in. He lasted less than 24 hours in the program, but when he came in, the wife who brought him was very emotional and was very, very happy that he was here and he was finally going to do this thing. And you could see the stress, just like, she didn't know what to think. I've been living with this nightmare. Here he is. He's in a safe place. She's crying. We prayed with her. We're talking with her. We said, you know what, tonight you're gonna get a good night's sleep, because he's safe. He's with us, and everything was going great. And then he makes a decision to leave the program. And again, it's right back. Imagine the stress she's facing today. You know what I mean? So. I have a verse here I want to read. Galatians 6:7 says, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. So again, love without boundaries. We talked about it, and I think podcast one of them about enabling. So when you love someone without boundaries, you're enabling them. And we see it all the time, and when parents consistently rescue someone from their consequences, what Dave Batty says.
That's right.
It says, I got it right here, a little quote. It says, they interrupt the sowing and the reaping process.
Yes.
I mean, that's genius.
I know.
I mean, think about that.
We don't think of it that way.
Right. The Bible talks about a man reaps what he sows, but when we interfere, we don't allow him to reap what he sows. But if you take your hands off and you let him reap what he sows, you get results a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Saves years.
Yeah, and so that's a good word too, Russ. I just used that yesterday at chapel.
Yeah.
You were sitting right there with me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's probably where I got it.
Yeah, you probably did. Well, Dave Batty gave us. We got to thank Dave Batty for all this information.
Yeah, man.
So, Dave, if you're watching this and listening, we read all your material, man. It's great stuff, and we use it.
Then we podcast it.
Yeah, and then we podcast it and take all the credit for it. No, but we really do appreciate Dave Batty. He does have a lot of great articles. So that's a good word, though, Russ. Sometimes love says, "I care too much about you to keep helping you destroy yourself."
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
remember this is. I remember my mom saying this to me 30 years ago before I came in the program.
Yeah.
I remember her hugging me and crying and just saying, "Son, I can't sit back and watch you do this to yourself any longer."
Yep.
That had a profound effect on me. I didn't stop what I was doing right then,
Sure.
but I never forgot her saying that.
Yeah, it's
And
powerful. Yeah.
sometimes it takes a little while
Yep.
for those, and it's painful,
Mm.
to watch your loved one go through this and sit back and feel helpless
Yeah.
and hopeless,
Yeah, imagine that.
through all of that. Like, we understand that. But the reality of the matter is that until they want help,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all you can do is love them
Yeah.
you can give them tough love
Yep.
and hard love. Moms do this all the time. I'm not going to let my baby go hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're interrupting the sowing and reaping
Yeah.
process because he made some bad, or she made some bad choices with their money.
Yep.
And now you're going to rescue them out of because you don't want to see them hungry. However, hunger is a great motivator.
Yeah.
And so when I started getting hungry and I was sleeping in my car,
Yeah, you make some moves.
I started wanting to rethink some things.
That's
And so
Yep.
those are real things. Another thing too that we can do is speak the truth without being angry.
That's right.
And trying to stay calm, because you can get very upset dealing with someone that's on drugs and alcohol addicted. It can be very frustrating because they lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
How many times do we have a guy or a girl flunk a drug test and then deny it?
Yeah.
And
Dude, we could have a podcast just on excuses made after a failed drug test.
oh my goodness,
I mean, that's that. Some of those it's very creative.
we should, if we could do the HIPAA, we can't, but if we could video some of those segments and just show people the depth of denial that comes along with drugs.
If you're watching this, you have to understand, even so, they tell you the same thing at home, but when they come into treatment, they do the same thing here. It's always, secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
Or the lady down the street. Or,
poppy seeds.
Poppy seed bagel.
Yep. I ate a poppy seed bagel and I flunked for heroin.
Hey, didn't you test that theory by eating a whole
bunch of ate a whole cap full of poppy seeds.
Did you fail the test?
No, I did it.
All right. So keep that in mind. He ate a whole cap full of poppy seeds and still passed the opioid test. So anyway, sorry, we're getting off track, but it is funny. But they try the same stuff with us that they try with you.
Yeah, they do the same thing.
Welcome to the club.
Now, Russ, imagine from our point of view, people that have been there and done it.
Right.
And heard it 100,000 times, they will still look you dead in your face and say that to you. I don't know how I flunked that test. Hey, I know how you did. Yep, because you did something. That's what you.
Man.
But you gotta speak the truth in love and without getting angry and not losing your peace. Amen. Because it's very easy to get frustrated over, try to argue with the person and all that. You can't. You can't.
I want to share what it says here. Hey, we took notes this time. We're trying to keep on track. So my notes here, it says this: your loved one needs to hear 2 steady messages. So really listen to this. Because this is not, it's not groundbreaking what they need to hear from you, but they need you to say, your choices are hurting you. So it's not our choices. It's not the choices your family's making or anyone they're trying to project blame to. Your choices are hurting you. So that needs to be a consistent message, and you need to tell them you need help. And the next one is, I'll love you no matter what. So you're going to love them. The love is there, even though you're not going to enable them and you're not going to make it easy for them to live in addiction. And you're probably going to tell them a lot of things they don't want to hear. And they may say, well, they don't love you because you don't love them, or whatever they can. Don't fall for that.
Yeah.
You have to understand, like, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It'd be shocking if it didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going through that right now, that's normal.
Yeah. Dave Batty tells a story about a girl that ended up in jail, and she called her father at home to bail her out. And her father said, I'm not going to bail you out of jail. He said, but when you get out, you're welcome to come home.
Okay. Well, that's a good example.
That's a way to love
like that.
someone. I like that example. Hey, look, and the girl was furious. She was upset, amen. But
In the
guess what?
moment.
When she got out, she came home, amen. And so she
Yeah,
never went
that's
back to
good,
jail
Steve.
after that, amen. And
Mhm.
sometimes the most loving thing you can say to a person that's addicted is no.
Yeah.
Now I'm not
Yeah.
gonna participate in this with you,
Yeah, you can't.
any longer,
Yeah.
amen.
And,
I,
and that cycle goes on for years. So
yeah,
it may be years before they get to that where you watching get to that point. I mean, think about all the time you spent just the circle, the cycle over and over and over. And it's the same excuses, the same promises, promises made, promises broken. Nothing is promises kept.
yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense.
No, that's good. Another thing you need to do is to create the right atmosphere for change. And this
Mm.
kind of goes along with what we were talking about the other week about
Yeah.
raising the bottom.
Yeah.
You got to create an atmosphere,
Yeah.
uh, for change, man. And,
Yep.
uh, they'll get help when they hit the bottom.
Yeah, that's
Amen.
right. Yep. We talked about it
Yeah.
before. Luke 15, prodigal son.
Yep.
That boy hit rock
He
bottom.
hit rock bottom.
And he was hungry, he was alone, he was desperate, and no one was there to pick him up. He had to come to that conclusion on his own.
On his own.
So he had to spend his money, he had to party hard, he had to feel like junk. But really, what it was is when he was hungry and he had nothing, nobody was helping him. And he literally came to a point where he said, I'll eat whatever those pigs are eating.
Yeah.
I mean, that's rock bottom.
Yeah. Then he
But-
was
but he
eating what
came to his
then when he was
senses.
eating what the pigs ate, he said, "Man, my
That's
dad's
right.
got some good food at
Yeah,
home."
that's right.
So we laugh about
But
it.
it works.
But
Yes.
hey, he said, "Man, I'm gonna go back." And he humbled himself and went back home.
Yeah.
And
But he had to go through all of that. There, again, I think that story would read completely different
Yep.
if the father and the family and everybody around him followed him out into the wilderness
Yep.
and was, trying to convince him to come home all those years. The story doesn't show us that.
Yeah.
It says they let him do his thing and he came to his senses.
Yeah. He came to his senses, man, and he went back home.
That's
Right.
right.
And we have to do the same thing for our loved
Mhm.
one. It's very hard. It's real easy for us to sit here
Yeah.
and tell people what they need to do.
Yeah.
In our own lives.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Yep.
This isn't easy.
Mm.
And it doesn't feel good. I just spoke at a church last week, and I knew some of the people in there and some of the things they were dealing with
Yeah.
with a loved one that's addicted.
Mm.
And I just said to them, "Hey, I want to give you some encouragement right now. I know it hurts, but you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I know doing the right thing hurts and it doesn't feel well,
Yep.
but it's the right thing. Enabling, not allowing your loved one to feel the consequences of their bad decisions."
That's right.
Amen. And when they start to feel those consequences, you say, hey, I spent all my money on this, and this week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Well, I remember this feeling now. So the next time I get some money, I'm thinking, wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to rescue me.
Right.
I'm not going to be able to cry to mom or dad or a brother or sister this week and do this. They're getting serious about this thing. And you start to force them to own up to their decisions.
Yeah,
Amen. That's
letting
powerful.
them experience the results of their decisions.
Yep.
And we have to stop. We have to stop owning their problems, and really, and that's the hardest thing for maybe someone's watching and you just say, man, if only I did this, or if only I can do this. And you just have to stop. That thinking will keep you in a cycle. You're in the same cycle they're in. You're allowing they're making bad decisions and you're owning it.
Yeah.
And we're here to tell you, that's not going to work, and it shouldn't. That should not be your reality.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. What if parents? What if we keep saying parents, but just loved ones?
Yeah,
what if we
loved ones.
prayed, God help me make the right decisions,
Mm-hmm.
so my son or daughter or loved one will come to their senses?
Yeah.
And just ask the Lord for His help.
Yep.
Amen.
In fact, tell the person struggling, like, hey man, I have tried everything to help you. I have no other choice right now than to turn you over to God.
Yep.
And they'll hear that, because that's going to be
Well, hey,
that's somebody saying, hey, I'm taking my hands off the situation. But they also know if you're trusting God for it, then you're not going to feel bad doing it, or at least that's what they're going to.
Man, Russ, I know a guy in the middle of an intervention with his family. his grandmother dropped down on her knees in the middle of the intervention, and she said, "I'm turning this boy over to God."
Yep.
And
That's all you can do.
she began to pray in tongues and all of that, right?
Oh, man.
And the next thing you know, nobody else knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But you know what? That young man, years later, he
Mhm.
never forgot his grandmother doing that
Yeah.
on his behalf, because they were at their
Yeah,
wits'
that's
end with
powerful.
this guy.
Mhm.
And she just said, "That's it.
Yeah.
We're not doing no more intervention here. I'm tired of hearing all this stuff.
Yeah.
And she fell on her knees, started crying out to God
Gave it
right
up.
there in front of
Well,
everyone
that'll
in the
send a
living room.
message.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, that guy's the COO today.
Wow. Oh, that was you?
Yeah, that was me, man. Yeah.
Here I was feeling bad for that boy.
Yeah. Don't feel bad. It worked.
That's good.
Another thing we have to do is stand together.
Yeah.
Amen. Over and over and over again, man. Especially a husband and wife.
Yeah.
Y'all got to stay together.
Yeah. Mixed messages.
Oh my gosh, you got to be on the same page.
Yes.
Lord, I could preach a message
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. You cannot have mixed answers or mixed emotions about it. One family member's thinking, well, we got to just turn him over and let him. Other one saying, no, we got to go rescue him. That'll kill your marriage, number one, and it's going to create even more problems in the house.
Yeah.
That's very dangerous.
Absolutely. You know, I'm not going to allow you to ruin my marriage with my wife.
Yeah, that's right.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
That's another
good,
show.
Steve. Yeah.
That's another show right there. That's good.
Because holding the line.
Right. I'm going to hold the line. That's right. You know, because the battle is spiritual. It's not just physical too. It's physical too, but it's a spiritual battle also too. We have to understand that. Amen.
That's good.
You know, you're not just raising a child, you're fighting for that child's destiny. Like all parents say this. He's such a good boy. He's such a good girl. You know, and like you may be right, off of drugs, he or she probably is.
Right.
But right now, he or she is not.
Right. They need help.
Yeah, they need help. And it's a spiritual help that they need. The physical gets out the way, but you still have to deal with the spirit side of it. And so loved ones that are using drugs and alcohol, moms, dads, brothers and sisters, I'm sure there's somebody watching this show right now going, man, I wish my mom was watching this. Or I wish my dad was, because there's always one person in the family that holds the line. And that person gets very frustrated and man.
Oh, you're getting into it now.
Because that person right there that's holding the line in the family, when everything is said and done and your loved one finally gets help, you're the person that they're going to love the most. You're the person that they're going to respect the most, because when they get straightened up, they're going to look back.
Yeah.
And all the people that was enabling him and helping him in their mess, it might not be so sweet for you. But that one person that's helping, that's like doing the hard work, telling them the right things and doing what you're supposed to do, that person they're going to respect in the end.
Yeah, and they'll probably end up coming to that person.
Yes.
When things get tough.
They will. That person and the addicted loved one, they'll be like this afterwards.
That's right.
They'll have a tremendous amount of respect for them. And they'll sit here and I guarantee you they'll come to you, because I've done this in my own life. They'll come to you and go, hey, thank you.
Yeah, because you told me the truth.
Yeah, because you told me the truth. Everybody else sugarcoated, babied everything and all that. I'd still be, doing drugs if I was listening to them.
No, that's good.
But that one person that's the bad guy, I want to thank you for the bad guys out there, the bad girls. You're the ones that are going to help your loved one get treatment and get right. I'm just telling you. Yeah, amen. Hey,
that one was free, because that
one was free. I got fired up there for a second. Hey, but hope has a name. Amen. Yeah. Hope has a name. His name is Jesus. I'm just telling you. Yeah. You got to put your trust in him. You gotta turn that loved one over to the Lord. You can't change them.
That's right.
You can't do anything.
And Jesus will track and keeps track of those prodigals, and he knows what they're up to. He knows what they need. And just like in the story, that the son that ran away and squandered everything. Yeah, there was a process. He had to go through that process to
that sowing and reaping.
Where he was,
he went through the sowing and reaping process. Yeah. Yep, that's powerful right there, Russ. Yep, not in our power, but in God's power. Amen. Philippians 1:6 says, "He who begun a good work in you will carry it out onto completion." That promise is for every mother, every father, every hurting family member.
That's right.
Yep.
Amen. Speak that truth in love.
In love. Yep.
Sometimes love sounds harsh.
Yep. And it hurts.
And it hurts, but
Yeah.
it's love if you're willing. You got to have the courage to love them in that manner.
Yeah.
You know, that really is something that families can work on. You got to, and have support, because to tell someone no in love is going to feel like you're not loving them, but in reality you are.
Hey, what kind of mother are you?
Oh yeah, you're going to hear all that.
What kind of father are you?
One that loves you enough to tell you the hard things.
Don't let them play that game on you.
That's absolutely right. Because it is a period of uncomfortable and inconvenience that could save their lives.
Yeah.
And like you said, at the end of everything, like our graduates, when they go home, they remember who was hard in love.
Yeah.
And that connection's real.
Yeah. For me, it was my mother. My mom, when I came in the program, I was in a rehab.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't leave. It was a long story, but
I remember
they was looking for me, trying to figure out where I was. And then I remember talking to my mom. I can't remember. It's like 30 years ago. But I remember telling her I'm going to this is funny now. I'm going to a Christian program. My mom was like, this is the best one you ever came up with. And so like she wouldn't come get me.
Yeah.
And they thought I was, because she thought I was doing the same thing over and over again. Well, my Aunt Bunny and my Aunt Carol came and got me and brought me to Teen Challenge.
Wow.
And then it was later on when my mother said, wow, he's really serious. He's doing it, and then we started. But I've always been thankful to my mother for that, for being that way. I know that was very hard for her. Hey, I remember one day, Mom, if you watching, turn it off right now. But I remember one day I came home and my mom had all my suitcases and everything, my belongings out on the carport. And I said, hey, what's my stuff doing out here? She said, you moving today. I said, what do you mean I'm moving? I said, I ain't going nowhere. I walked in the house, went in my room, all my stuff was gone. I came back out and she's like crying. She's like, son, I can't do this anymore. Like, you're going to have to go somewhere else. And I remember I did the typical drug addict stuff. You gonna kick your own son? Out and all this and that. My mom, she started crying and all this and that. I'll never forget that, and I got in the car and I remember going, man, where am I going to live? I'm thinking, man, I'm going to be homeless again. Yeah. Then I started, that's what started me into, I got to do something. Yeah. Now I didn't know what to do, but I knew I had to do something. Yeah. And so that's when I ended up in that rehab. So I checked in and got into a rehab. And then I realized after 28 days, I need more than 28 days. I realized something was wrong with me. And so that's how I ended up in Teen Challenge. Man, it's been a good show here.
Helpful. And hopefully you watching find this helpful. And if anything, if the one thing you take away from this episode is that it is okay to feel the way you're feeling when you're doing the hard thing. It's going to feel hard, but it is the right thing to do. And you're doing exactly what we would do. Yeah. And we would tell you to do. So, and we deal with this every day.
Yeah. I think it's Nick, man. What did his mother say to them? She said, I love you too much to allow you to keep going through this.
Wow.
And she brought him to Teen Challenge. Yeah. Hey, man, we got countless of stories like that. Well, hey, Russ, before we wrap up, I just got a few reflection questions I want to leave with everybody on the show. And one is, how can you communicate love without becoming part of the problem? Amen. How do I do that? I think we've answered that question. Yeah. One, how can speaking truth calmly and with consistency open the door for change? Yeah. It's because I don't want to end up getting we're already frustrated. I don't want to get upset. Yeah. I don't want to get upset because when we get upset, everything goes haywire after that, and we end up arguing with one another. Right. So the important thing for you is when dealing with your loved one that's addicted is to stay calm. No matter how hard it gets. This is why you can't do it by yourself. You need somebody else. So if that person sees you getting a little worked up, they can step in and take over and you work together. Right. Amen. It takes more than one person. And then what kind of atmosphere are you creating in your home? One that feeds denial or one that invites the truth? So these are questions that you're going to have to ask yourself here. So I think the last one is a big one. Yeah. Am I creating the right environment in my home? We're not going to allow this to happen anymore. That's right. Yep. I'm going to say it like this. You ain't going to smoke crack all week and then think you ain't going to church on Sunday. We pay the bills in here and this is our house. You're not doing that. Yeah. We're not going to allow you to lay around anymore. Oh, but my head hurts and this and that. Well, you should have thought about that when you was out all weekend. But you're gonna go hear.
You're gonna drag you to church
You're
anyway.
gonna hear
huh?
Pastor Randy or
Yeah.
Rolanda this week. Amen. You know, and so those are the type of things that we have to do. They gonna hate you for it, but you got to do it. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. That's some good stuff
And
right
two,
there.
you know, if you're watching and you say, hey, this is something I need to do. Let's say you're watching and you're in addiction right now and you need to reach out. Go to our website, sandhillstc.org. A lot of information on the site, but there's also a Get Help button right on the homepage. It's yellow. Just click it, fill out an application. We'll call you. So put in a real phone number, one that's actually going to reach you. You know, and there's also resources if you're watching and you want resources. Some of the resources under our page, just go under the resource page, and there's printouts that you can that you can print. And those are
great articles.
Really where we're getting a lot of our material for the podcast.
Yeah.
So if you like what you're hearing and you want more information, it's on our website.
Yeah, amen. That's good. Well, hey, this is Pastor Steve Russ Cambria, episode 6 of the Hope Connection podcast.
Right.
We want you to know that Hope has an address. Amen. And it's Sand Hills Adult and Teen Challenge. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.
God bless you. Thanks for tuning in.